Welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be going over roaming, which is one of the most important topics in the entire game, especially if you're playing a mid laner. This guide will be specifically covering roams as a mid laner. However, the concepts apply to every lane, so you can keep on watching if you want to know how to roam properly. By the way, the last two tips are extremely important for roaming, so make sure you watch at least those last two tips to make sure that your roams are always successful and convert your roams to wins. Real quick, before I give you the tips, I'm just gonna go quickly define what is roaming and why you want to do it. So roaming as a mid laner is basically leaving your lane for a short amount of time to go help one of your side lanes, whether that be your duo lane or your top lane. So doing this will help you gank their lane with a numbers advantage. And why you want to be roaming around the map is to impact other lanes and both help yourself snowball the game, but also help your teammates when you roam. And if you don't roam as a mid laner, it's like having a jungler that doesn't gank. It's an absolute necessity if you're winning the game. Alright, so my first tip for you when you want to roam is to make sure that you have lane priority. Now, what does lane priority really mean? Lane priority means that you have shoved your wave into the enemy tower and that your minions have been crashed onto the enemy tower. And this is extremely important to do because if you don't do this, then if you go for a roam and you come back to your lane, you're going to be missing a bunch of minion waves, which translates into missed gold. So something that you can do if you always find yourself missing gold and experience from roams because you didn't fast push the wave or your wave wasn't big enough is slow pushing. So what you can do before you roam is you can either go for a fast push, which will leave you a small amount of time to roam and quickly get a kill and then come back to lane, or you can do a slow push, which will crash a much larger wave onto the enemy tower. However, when you do this, you'll have a much longer time to roam and you'll have a lot more time to gank other lanes. My second tip for you is to change up your roam pathings. So what this means is you don't always want to be roaming through the river, and I see a lot of players make this mistake, and some people even roam when the enemy team has already taken the Rift Scuttler. And these ganks will not work above gold elo, I promise you, because people will see you on the map and they'll just back off and they just wasted your time and you wasted your time, and basically it's a bad roam. What you want to be doing is either clear vision in the river, or even better, you can go through the enemy jungle if you know the enemy jungler isn't there. These roams are way more likely to work out and often prove way more successful, especially if the enemy team already has vision in the river. Roaming through the enemy jungle is way more effective than going through the river. So my second tip for you is to change up your roam pathings and not always go through the river. My third tip for you is to always have great map awareness. Now, you don't want to be panning around the map and looking at the minimap right before you roam. You want to be looking at the minimap throughout the course of the lane. That way you know which lanes are gankable, especially paying attention to minion wave states, the enemy's health bar, and also the enemy's mana bar. Also, if you are panning around the map constantly, you'll sometimes be able to catch an enemy summoner spell. For example, if they used flash, then you know that lane is much more likely to have a successful gank because you just saw them flash and now they don't have any flash to escape any of your skills or your ultimate. So my third tip for you is to have proper map awareness. This will increase your success rate with roams drastically, so you want to be doing this properly. Alright, so my fourth tip for you, and this isn't really roaming, but it really relates to roaming. It's faking roams. So what you can do is actually fake a roam to a certain lane, and then when an enemy tries to follow you, or if they try to like catch you, then you can just burst them down for a bunch of damage. And you can do this if you have been getting a lot of successful roams, or if you know the enemy is going to try to follow you, then you can fake a roam and then get a bunch of damage on them, or even a kill if you're an assassin against a squishy target. So this is one of the tips that I want to be giving you. Alright, so my next tip for you is maybe you have been using all the tips and tricks so far in this guide. Maybe you do have a bunch of successful roams and ganks and are getting those kills. However, you're still not winning games. Now, why does this happen? So this happens because you're roaming to lanes with less of a carry potential. Now, what I mean is you're roaming to lanes with champions that don't have as much carry potential as the other lanes. So before the game even begins, you have to look at both team comps and really understand what is your win condition. So which champion on your team needs to be fed, that way you can win the game. So you need to identify that and then help that champion snowball out of control. And if you do that, you're gonna have your win rates shoot up. Like, honestly, if you are roaming to the correct lanes and getting kills, it's almost impossible to lose the game. So really identify which lanes you want to be roaming to and which lanes have higher carry potential. That way you can win games and finish them off more easily. Alright, so my last tip for you, and probably something that I do see that is really important and that lower elo players are getting wrong, is not to roam when you know that the roam is failing. If you commit to a roam that's failing, then you basically waste your own time as well as lose gold and experience that you could be getting otherwise if you just had stayed in the lane. If you know that your roam is going to be unsuccessful, for example, if you ran over a ward, or you know that the enemy is backing off or their lane is frozen or something like that, then you know that your roam is gonna be unsuccessful. Then just go back to your lane and just leave the lane alone. I know it's painful that you know that your roam's not gonna work, but I promise you, opportunities will present themselves if you are playing correctly. So just go back to mid. Don't try to commit to a roam that won't work, or else you're just gonna be wasting your own time as well as lose precious gold and experience that you'll be getting otherwise if you were just in the lane. With that wraps up most of my tips for roaming. I hope you really enjoyed this guide and this video. If you do enjoy my content, please subscribe, as I'm gonna be doing a very special video at 500 subscribers, and I know a lot of you guys are going to like it. So please subscribe if you want to see that coming out. Also, most of my content on my channel is all educational content for you guys to improve in Wild Rift. By the way, I have a 300 subscriber giveaway that is ongoing right now. You can join by watching this video, and if you comment on this video right now, you will be entered in on the comment section video. But I would highly recommend watching the giveaway video, as in there I go over the specifics of the giveaway and how you can enter the giveaway in different ways. So with that, I just want to tell you guys that I love you and I appreciate every one of you. If you did watch all the way this far, then please leave a comment if you did, and I'll give you a shout out in my next video. Love y'all, and I will see you soon. Bye!